As human beings, it is ultimately in our power to choose what we allow through our energetic gates. It is our responsibility as leaders in charge of our own path to choose carefully what draws our attention. For where our attention goes, our energy follows, and allocation of scarce resources along with it. For us to walk on a path of self-mastery, it becomes essential to examine our ever-shifting state of mind. Our perceptions, beliefs, and emotions are the primary influence behind the lenses we put on to see reality. I call these subtleties. The most common trap we fall into is to forget the paramount importance they play in our lives. We are still so conditioned to the gross reality of Newtonian physics that we believe the universe works that way, in spite of all the last century's findings of relativity and quantum physics. Everything we do, think, and feel has an impact on our psychophysical system, but for the most part we go through our days unaware of this very practical universal law. We collect layers of stuff that cloud our clarity of purpose. Without our even sensing it, other people's projections and preconceptions enter our energetic system unchecked and steep with our own gut-level reactions. The result is a tar-like emotional sludge in our organism that dictates how we interact with and relate to other people, from our teammates to our followers, bosses, customers, lovers, and family. We operate from this baseline unaware that our judgment is fogged and our body contaminated. The choices we make under these conditions are necessarily reactive and fundamentally biased, for they are based on energies we carry unconsciously. The outcomes of those choices tend to generate a subtle but pervasive sense of dissatisfaction, regret, and sometimes even anger. Moreover, since deep down we know that we don't own the underlying conditions, we feel we don't want to take ownership of the outcomes of our choices either. We refuse to learn by the feedback we get. We usually reject it and rather blame outer factors for our shortcomings, deluding ourselves in the process. Judgments we make under this predicament usually stem out of fear, insecurity, or a sense of inadequacy. On the other side, when we can decipher the background causes for our judgment, we begin to choose consciously and proactively. A lack of judgmental attitude doesn't mean a lack of judgment. In fact, we can highly be discriminating with ideas, people, and situations, and engage deeply or disengage thoroughly without hostility. I call this leading from a place of being. Being implies a scrutinized state of mind and the formation of a clear, unbiased, broad view. Being denotes compassionate action without attaching strings to choices, people, and situations. Being entails living fully in the present moment and in touch with all our 5 human dimensions: physical, energetic, mental, emotional, intellectual, intuitive, blissful, spiritual. A necessary step to cultivate a space of being is to create more space in the mental, emotional sheath. Unfortunately, taming the mind most of the time doesn't work. She's stronger than a wild horse. She tends to rebel as we use techniques geared to silence it. In the next exercises, breathwork, meditations, we will guide you through the process of making your inner space vaster so that when life comes, you can deal with it not by strategizing with reality, but by seeing things from a larger, clearer perspective and with more equanimity. See things as they are and not as we want them to be is a trainable skill.